My name is Dr. Steve Mogere. I'm an infrastructure specialist by profession, having worked in development for over 20 years. I want to say that we own this farm, and we started about 2004 actually. The vision, we started looking at what we can be able to do around here, started more than 20 years ago. And in this farm, it's a poultry farm, a layers farm, and so far we have implemented the phase one, what we call the proof of concept, for 7,000 birds, and now it is at full capacity as we've started working. So from early this year, in January, we specifically the date 29th of December last year, we put the birds here at 12 weeks. And now we are past 33 weeks. So far, I think it's been quite an interesting journey. And the bigger, I think, issue is how did we get in, because this is the first time that we are raising it. I have been a member of Kimisitu since 2006, saving, of course, for many other projects that we have been able to do. But to do this major project, it requires something much more. It's a product that wasn't there before. And in fact, I had thought about moving out of Kimisitu until after I discussed with a member of the Kimisitu management, specifically I think it's Mercy Oluoj, if I'm not wrong. And I told her I want to move out of Kimisitu because I want to go and start a circle, and we get financing for my project because it requires over 15 million shillings. And then she told me, no, you don't have to, we have these products to start. And then I came in and I've never looked back. I want to say that, of course, without Kimisitu, we couldn't have stocked this project. We had done their houses. For example, I want to say, maybe to start back, is to say in 2011 we did the borehole here. We provided water. We are very lucky, and by the grace of God, we managed to have water in this area, and we've been supplying water from 2011. But we wanted something more, because now this land, as we have 5 acres of land here, and there's another part which is about 6 acres of land. And when we looked at what we can be able to do, water was the biggest limitation. So in 2011, we drilled the borehole as a family, and we got water. After that, we got electricity, which now we're able to power our farm. But there was still a challenge on electricity, so we decided to go for solar as an alternative. So we have solar, and later on we did a generator. As you know, if you are doing a layers farm, power is very, very important. You don't want to miss power. And other than power, then we started looking at how we can be able to provide biosafety. So if you go around the compound, it's quite secure. Lots of features that enable the birds, and also for us to do the agriculture. On the upper part, it's not just only the birds that we have. We have greenhouses where we do some herbs, and to the other side, I think we are even having bananas. But I think specifically for the poultry, the biggest barrier we had is really financing, to get the financing. That we overcame through the Kimisitu support, and we are very grateful so much about that. But even as we did that, everybody we talked about, we want to do this, the fear that how can you start with 7,000 birds, suppose they die. And I realized that many of us have been brought up in an environment of fear, that we want to start something even when we know it will work, but then there's always the fear. Your friend tells you, Daktari, you can start this project and the birds can die. I've been trained in animal health when I started my undergraduate, in public health. A lot of time spent understanding how animal welfare and how it works. But when it comes to starting the business, the biggest challenge was actually the fear. And one was the fear of numbers, the fear of disease, the fear you will not get funding, even from very close family members, because we have been trained to always be very careful. So sometimes it's like you have to overcome it, to invest. There's a risk. But this far, we must thank God that we haven't experienced everything else that everybody was fearing. And I think we thank God for that. The second part is the management part of it. Once the birds came in, we spend a lot of time with the workers being trained. They have to be here 24/7. And then after the training, then you make sure that you have recalibrated the system to make sure all is well. I would say that it's a very good business. And just to give you an idea, in the poultry industry in Kenya, Kenya is a very deficient country when it comes to eggs. Kenya produces 4 billion, while the demand is actually 9 billion. So we have a deficit of about 5 billion. And that's where many eggs actually come from outside into our country. So what that means is that the question of market, which everybody feared and were telling me, is really a fear that is unfounded. Scale is everything. But you have to be very careful to know how you are going to raise the birds, produce the eggs, and take them to the market. So far, we haven't experienced that fear, the risk of issues to do with market, because of what I've just said. Kenya is a deficient country when it comes to eggs. The third part is what if, for example, issues to deal with power, risks about health. Yeah, we are in a cold season, schools are closed. There is a small ditch on how many eggs and trays we collect per day. But generally speaking, we have not experienced any major problem, and we thank God for that. And I guess that if we get our story and everybody to know that it's doable, it can be done. And the Saccos really, in my view, have come very handy, because they will be able to give you affordable credit, and the terms are more flexible than if you were to go to the banks. So far, I think I would say it's a good thing. And I will encourage as many of those who want to do such kind of thing to pick it up. The question I leave with everybody is, I've worked for many years in academia, working in the public sector, working in international organizations. We need to produce as a country. We need to produce as a country. Our country, our children, their children will not be able to compete unless we produce something. And one way to build and to deal with unemployment in our country is really through production. Agro value add is very key. And I think that's what we're trying to do, to be a part of this development journey of our country, to be of help and try to reduce unemployment in our country is really what drives us. And this is just the beginning. We intend to scale for this farm. We have planned that we can be able to have 4 production houses and one brooder house. That means we can accommodate and have a capacity of over about 200,000 birds. Can be able to produce the over 200,000 eggs per day. That is very doable. Of course, you have to account for not 100% birds give or are going to produce every day. So you can, when you're doing a fantastic management, you can get up to 90% of layer, and that is really is quite profitable for that. This is the layout for the farm, and this is where we are as you get in here. And this is the manager's office. The blue side is already constructed and done, and the red side are the planned production houses for the poultry. So we are going to have 4 production houses and 1 brooder house, and each production house will have 50,000 birds, making it over, that's 54,000 birds. So that will make it 54 times 4, that will total to about 201,000 birds. That's what we are planning. And this is going to be scaled up incrementally, not all of it at a go. But we have started with the planning is done, the proof of concept is done with the 7,000 birds, and now we are moving into the first house, which will be fully easy. That means environmental controlled with all latest technologies to make sure that the birds are the birds are well taken care of, and then they can be able to reach production of over productivity of over 90%. Welcome to Maranda Chicken. This is the first house that we have done. It is 55 meters by 12 meters, two rows of 7,000, that is 3,500 birds each side. So as you come in, this is you have to wet your feet. This is biosafety, whereby everybody who gets here, you have to sanitize before you get in. And then here is the door, inlet water, and then the water is filtered. As you can see, this is what they call the dosatron, whereby if, for example, we want to dose, it's automated. We can be able to put in some medicine, and then we dose it, and there's a system pulls it up. So there is an inlet and an outlet, and then the water is filtered, and then it goes to the birds. That's how it works. Everything is pressured, controlled, and we can check how many liters of water they got per day. So you can actually have precise agriculture. That's what it means. So yeah, that's what we have for the watering system. First poultry house is 55 meters long and 12 meters wide. This is row 1 and line 2, which is row 2. And a total of about 7,000 birds, now about 6,700 birds. And is semi-automated, meaning the water is fully automated, the feeding water is fully automated. The feeding traps, these ones, you feed in and then you move. And also the waste management, the waste down is also not automated. So basically cleaning is done manually, and the feeding is done manually, and the water is fully automated. That's what it means. So that's the system we have from one of the leading manufacturers of poultry equipment globally. There is this point about the choice of either you want financing from the bank, you want to go to your circle, you want to crowd, get your friends to. Of course, you cannot invest what you have not saved. So the first thing is saving. Is very important in wealth creation. You must save, and after you've saved, then you use it to invest. So then the next question that you look at, what can I do and where can I go to? Is it the bank as my first call, or my saving, my circle? And I want to say for all the members that for me, what I found out is that a circle is really the go-to place. And I want to encourage all members that visit Kimisitu. The products that are available are priced well, and the response is what really I liked. Within 3 months I was able to get what I needed from the time that I did an application. And it's because of not related to Kimisitu, it's because of the issues to do with land valuations and the rest for purposes of guarantee. But in terms of processing for Kimisitu, within hours you have the fund. So you have to know what you want to do. Visit Kimisitu, support it, invest. Of course, save, invest. But above all, know what you want to do. Once you do that, I don't think you should be able to go back. That's what I can say. So great encouragement for our members.